Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SCRL press conference, and today we will be briefing you on the national economy statistics, and we are very honored to have Mr. Fu Linghui, spokesperson, Director General of Department of Comprehensive Statistics of the NBS. And first of all, let's give the floor to Mr. Fu. Good morning. Dear friends from the press, please allow me to brief you on the main numbers of our national economy in July. The national economy is restoring and recovering in a steady manner, and under the strong leadership of the Central Party Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we are exercising fully, and in the new development concept, we have strengthened our national economy, macroeconomy policies, and we have ensured the fast recovery of the service and consumption industry, and the price level remains stable. First of all, we see steady improvement in terms of service industry, and the service industry index is up by about 5.7%. And finance, transport, as well as post business are growing by 20%, 11%, 7%, and 7.3% respectively. And the service industry index is up by 8.3%. And the income for service industry is up by 7.5%, and the commercial industry is up by 53%, and among which the railway and aerial transport, civil aviation, and the other activity index is above 60%. Second, the industry is developing steadily, especially the manufacturing industry. In July, the added value in industry is up by 3.4%. And the manufacturing industry is up by 1.9%, and power and thermal industry is up by 4.1%, and the manufacturing industry is up by 8.8%. In terms of economy, the SOE is up by 3.4%. The shared shareholding enterprise is up by 5%. And the foreign invested industry is down by about 11.8%. In terms of products, the solar cell product is up by 26%, and the added value for industry is also expediting and accelerating. 3. The market sale is also recovering, and the service consumption is growing rapidly. In July, the total consumption is up by, the total consumption reached 360 billion yuan. In terms of rural consumption, it is up by 3.8%. In terms of the consumption, the commodity sale is up by 1%, and the catering is up by 15.8%. And the grocery industry is also up by 5.5% and 3.1% and 3%. And the online sale is up by 10.4%.
网上零售额83097亿元，同比增长12.5%。其中，实物商品网上零售额69856亿元，增长10%。
Online sale for commodity is up by 690%. Is 90 billion yuan.
零售额同比增长20.3%。
4. The fixed investment scale continues to expand, and high-tech investment are accelerating. In July, the total fixed asset consumption is up by 3.4%, and the infrastructure is up by 6.8%, and the real estate industry is up by 8.5%. The total floor space for commercial housing is down by 6.5%. The sales for commercial housing is down by 1.5%. In terms of industry, the first industry's investment is up by 0.9%, and second industry up by 8.5%, and third industry up by 1.2%. The investment in civil society is also increasing, among which high-tech and manufacture and service industry is up by 11.5% and 11.6%, respectively. We also see steady increase in terms of manufacture of medical equipment. In terms of the high-tech service industry, we also see increase of around 40 to 30%. 5. We continue to see a steady increase in terms of import and export of commodity, and the export is around 200 billion yuan, which is up by 14%, and we also see increase in terms of export of commodity, and import is down by 1.1%. In the first 7 months, the trade, import, and export is up by 1.1 percentage point. And for the private industry, it is up by 6.7%, accounting for 52% in the export and import volume. And the electric products account for 56% of the total import and export volume. In terms of employment, we see that the unemployment of local residents is about 5.2%. In the 31 cities in the urban areas, this unemployment rate is 5.4%. And total, the average working hour per week is 47 hours per week. We see an increase of CPI with a decrease of CPI, which is down by 0.1%. And the price for food is increasing, and the clothing is up by 0.8%. And the communication prices, transportation and the communication prices down by 4.2%. In terms of food price, pork is down by 26%, and the grain price is up by 2.3%. The food price is up by 4.3%. The CPI is up by 0.5%. In July, we see this industry producers' price is down by 3.6%. And compared to month by month, it is down by 0.5 percentage point. And the selling price and purchase price is down by 2.1 and 1.5 percentage points, respectively. We see a complicated economic background at the global level, and we also face challenges in our domestic market. Coming up, we will continue to be guided by the Xi Jinping thoughts on Chinese, the socialism with Chinese characteristics for new era, and we will continue to strengthen our macroeconomic strategies to fend off risks and continue to push for better economic recovery and to create a better momentum. And also, we need to ensure this improvement of quality as well as a reasonable growth in quantity. Before I take your questions, there's something that I have to brief on you. Since August this year, the unemployment rate for the young people will be suspended because the economy is developing fast and we need to optimize our statistics and relevant work. For example, we need to take into consideration the following factors: and the expansion of university students, for one thing, and for the students, it is a priority to study in universities, so they need to focus on their studies before graduation. So we need to think about whether it is appropriate to take into account the employment rate of the students that have just graduated from college. And we need to take all of these factors into considerations before we release the number for the employment statistic for the young people. Now I'd like to take your questions. And please identify yourself before asking the question. From China News Daily, we've seen a decrease in terms of TPI, so how would that affect the future economy?
谢谢您的提问。工业生产者出厂价格呢变化呢，也受到各方面的关注。
The PPI is down by 4.4%, which is about 1 percentage point slower compared to the last month. And in terms of month by month, it is down. It's getting slow by 0.6% percentage point. So this is the first time for PPI to go down this year. This is mainly because of the international situation. For example, the price hike in terms of crude oil and ferrous and non-ferrous. And the purchase price for natural gas is decreasing. And the manufacture for chemical product is down by 14%, which is also slower by 0.7 percentage point. And the second, domestically, the supply and demand situation domestically has been improved. In July, we see that the mining industry is down by, of coal is down by 19%, and the speed is also slowing down. And third, we see an increase of PPI last month of 4.4% last year, and besides, we also see some price hike in terms of consumer products. For example, the entertaining product is up by 6.7%, and the textile industry is up by 1.2%. So despite the uncertainties of external factors, we also have seen a constant optimization in terms of national economy, and furthermore, we are expecting to see further decrease of PPI in the future. Thank you. Thank you. With CCTV. We see a slowing down of some major economic factors of July. So how do you evaluate this kind of change? This is actually very common monthly fluctuations. In the 7th month, we see a stable price level as well as a fast increase in terms of national economy. We see recovery in consumption market in the following aspects. First of all, the domestic demand continues to expand. We see a very booming tourist industry during the summer holidays. In the first 7 months, the retail volume is also up by 20%. And in July, this consumer product is up by 2.5%. In the first 7 months, the industry and the manufacturer industry investment are also increasing, which is faster than the national average of other industries. We also see an increasing investment in high-tech industry. It is up by 11%, which is also higher than national average, among which communication equipment as well as technological result transfer registered double-digit growth. And the equipment manufacturer is also increasing by 6.1%. So faster than the national average. The modern industry, namely software production and so on, is up by 11.9%. And the employment situation is also improving. The unemployment rate is decreasing. It is down by 11.1 percentage point year-on-year. We see a decrease of CPI, but a month-on-month growth. And the core CPI, which strips out food and energy price, also increase. We also see an increase in terms of innovation and technology investment. And the manufacture of high-tech products are also increasing. This number is up by 23.1%. And the smart product manufacture is up by 15%. And we also see faster increase in terms of green products, including the new energy vehicles and solar cells. And 5, faced with the high temperature and the severe flood, all parties are promoting this insurance in terms of power generation and supply so as to ensure the steady operation of our society. We also see an increase in terms of coal production and power generation. We see a lowering of price of grocery products such as vegetables, fruits, and meat products. And coming up, we will continue to act according to the instructions of the central government, and we will also stabilize employment, exert economic strategies in order to further improve the quality of our national economy, as well as reasonably expand the scale of our economy. Thank you. With Beijing Youth Daily. My question goes to the employment issue. We see that this year there will be 11 million students graduating from universities. So how are we going to support the job finding market for the young people, for the graduates? Thank you for your concern. And this year, we attach great importance to the improvement of our job finding market for the young graduates. We have organized multiple activities to connect the university graduates with the employers. We have held more than 190,000 events for job seeking. And according to the statistics of the Educational Authority, most of the students have already located their positions, have already found a job. I think the employment situation is slightly better than the situation of last year. And the governments and authorities of all levels are working with businesses and enterprises to further kick off measures to further mobilize the resources in the market to stimulate employment market. And second, the scale of the market is expanding. We provide subsidies to further enhance the job finding situation, and for private enterprises, the total number of students and altogether 670,000 new fresh graduates are employed in the private industries. We also are helping the students with difficulties in finding a job to further improve their situation, especially for those who are having difficulties at home. So governments and authorities at different levels are doing all that they can to expand the job market for the graduates. And coming up, we will continue to improve the situation of employment for freshly graduate students.
Good morning. Market News International. Despite export growth slowing down, China has seen significant strength in its trade surplus. What are the reasons behind this, and what is the trend of exports and the trade surplus for the rest of this year? Thank you.
好，请翻译一下。
你好，我是来自美国国际市场新闻社的记者。虽然出口下降，但是中国的贸易顺差依然保持着强劲，请问是为什么？另外，今年接下来的时间里面，整个的出口的趋势是怎么样的？谢谢。
谢谢 您的提问。
The global economy remains sluggish this year, and the export is stagnant. Faced with this difficult situation, we continue to optimize the trade structure. So the total volume of import and export remains stable, and we register a reasonable surplus. And the surplus is up by 10.3% in July, and we owe that to the following factors. First of all is the strong domestic manufacturer capacity. We have a full-fledged supply and demand chain, and we also have a high competitive edge in the global market. And this year, in terms of export, we remain stable in terms of the global share. And domestically, the national economy is still restoring. So I think the export is up by 1.5%, and the import is down by 1%, which is support the stabilization of the surplus. And also, the range for downward trend is slower than that of import. We also see an increase in terms of raw materials as well as bulk commodities. In the first 7 months, the import of crude oil, coal, iron is down by 16%, 19%, and 15% respectively. And the export is also decreasing, but this range is narrower than that of import. In H2, with the further optimization of export markets, import and export market, we remain positive that we will still register trade surplus. Thank you. With CNBC.
CNBC 记者提问，我有2个问题。第一个，就最近碧桂园房地产事件对整个行业恢复以及保交楼等措施。
First question concerns the real estate market. What is can you tell us the impact of Biguiyuan incidents on China's real estate industry? Well, the real estate industry is now undergoing some adjustment, and some of the real estate industries are facing some temporary problems, but these are, as I said, temporary difficulties, and we will continue to optimize the macroeconomic policies concerning real estate market. And there are demands that we will further meet the inelastic as well as improvement housing demand in order to further increase the confidence of the market. With the restoring of national economy and the increase of income, we believe that we will see an improving will in terms of real estate market consumption. The second question is about employment market. With the restoring of national economy, we see also a recovery of the employment market domestically, both in the rural and urban areas. On the demand side, the service industry is the biggest employer in terms of labor. For example, the tourist industry and the transportation industry. In July, the job market remains stable, and due to some seasonal factors, the unemployment in urban market is about 5.3%, which is a slight increase compared to last month, but a major decrease compared to the same time of last year. So, in terms of migrant workers, their employment situation is increasing. In the 21 major cities, the job market is also picking up. The unemployment rate in major cities is 5.1%, which is a slight increase month on month. But we still face major pressure in terms of the job market. And the meeting of the Central Political Bureau has pointed out that we need to prioritize the employment situation at the national level. And coming up, all parties and authorities will continue to expand, to do what they can to expand the job market and stabilize the employment situation. With Reuters, the government has issued some economic stabilization policies, but we see a sluggish in domestic and global demand. We see a decrease in CPI especially. So what kind of stimulus policies will the government take in the future? In July, we see a decrease in some major index. This is just a very regular fluctuation month on month. In terms of deflation, Chinese economy is not undergoing deflation, and nor will it in the foreseeable future. So we see steady increase in terms of national economy. For example, the M1 is increasing, and the fluidity is also liquidity is also increasing. We see a decrease in CPI, but month on month, it is increasing. In terms of price factor, in July, the CPI is down by 0.3% month on month. This is mainly due to the following factors. The first is the decrease of food price. It is down by 1.7%, and last month is up by 2.3%. Pork is down by 26%, which contribute to 0.4 percentage point to the CPI, because last month the food price is relatively high. Second, compared to the same time last year, July last year, CPI is 2.2%. I think this is also an increase, the reason why CPI is decreasing. In terms of CPI, it is up by 0.2% month on month, and the non-food price is up by 0.5%. This is mainly due to the summer holidays and an increase in terms of service industry and tourism industry. Despite the food price, in terms of service industry, the price factor of the service industry is expanding by 0.5 percentage points, among which tourism and hotel, as well as flight tickets are expanding. In terms of industrial consumption products, it is down by 0.3%, which is also slowing down compared to last month. So the core CPI setting aside the food and energy, it is up by 0.4 percentage point, and that's also a positive signal. Based on the above situation and the decreasing of CPI in July should be short-termed. And with the picking up of the national economy as well as the improvement of supply and demand side, the CPI will continue to increase.
继续提问。先这边，第3排这位记者。
谢谢主持人，我是中央广播电视总台。
With CMG, you mentioned that PPI is down by 4.4%, which is the first narrowing of decrease range this year. So what does that mean? Well, it will surely help us to continue to see a major increase in terms of our national economy. And the added value for industry is up by 3.6%.
同比增长3.8%，与1到6月份持平。那么从7月份主要的工业生产特
We
点
see
来看，
a major increase in high-end manufacture
那么随着
and
产业
high-tech
向高端延
industry.
伸，那么以航空航天为代表的高端制造业较快增长。7月份规模以上航空航
Especially
天
in
器
the
及设备
aerospace
制造业增
industry,
加
which
值
is up by
同比增长
11%.
11.2%。
For residents,
那么居民呢
they
对于智
are
能消费产品的需求在
we are
扩大，
witnessing
带
a
动相关
higher
产业增长
demand in terms of
7月
electric
份智能消费设备
appliances.
制造业增
In
加
this
值
part,
同比
it
增
is
长
up by
15.3%。
15%. And second, we
21个转型
see
的动能
a
不断积极。
greater momentum in terms
新
of
能
growing
源相关产
products
业发展
such
向
as
好，
new
新能源汽
energy
车、光伏电
cars
池等
and
产品
solar
较
cell
快增长，
products.
对上下游行业的带动也在增强。
In July,
7月份新能源汽车充电桩的产量
the charging
分别增
port,
长了
charging
24.9%
station
和
for
26.6%。
new energy cars are also
太阳能
increasing.
电池和太阳能工业用超白玻璃产品
And
的产量
the
分别增
production
长
of a
65.1%
solar cell
和
is up by
65.3%。三是原
65%.
材料生产加快，随着终端需求拉
The
动
raw
增强，
material
对原材料行业的
industry
生产
is
也带动
also
在增强。
increasing,
7月份原材料
and
制
it
造
is
业
up
增
by
加值同比增长
8.8%,
8.8%，
which is
比上月加快2个百分
2.2
点。
percentage higher than that
其
of
中钢
last year,
铁和
for last month.
石油煤炭加工行业增加值分别增长15.6%和14.8%。
Besides,
此外，工业产销衔接水
we
平
see a greater
有所提
connection
升。
in terms of
随
production
着工业
and
企业不同的
sales
去化，
in
那
July.
7月份微上工业产销率
This rate,
升高
the
到
production
97.8%。
and the sales ratio
为近
is
期
about
客户的最高。
97.5%,
有利于增强
which is
企
the
业生产
highest
体
of
系。
this year.
还要
And
看到今年
second,
以来
I
规模以上
think
工业企业利
the
润降幅连续收窄。
interest,
7月份的
the
PPI
interest
改善，
margin,
工业
the
生产
profit
者价格的
margin
改善，也有利于
for
企业效
the
益的回升。
industries
下阶段尽管面临市场
have
需求的
also
制约，
been
但
restoring.
随着经济的恢复，产业升级持续推进，
We will
新动能
witness
继续壮大，
greater momentum
工业
in
运
the
行有望保持
industry
总体平稳。
and the manufacture production.
继续提问。这边第4排。
谢谢主持人。日本共同社有这样提问：宏观政策的角度来
So
看
can you tell us more
目前的
about the
消费的
consumption
情况怎么样？
market?
已经发布的恢复消
Can
费
you
的
tell
政
us more
策
about
够
the
不够？
consumption
又专家说
policies at
需要
the
更多的再成基础
at the government
怎么
level?
评论？谢谢。
消费，恢复消费。
Thank you.
谢谢您的提
I
问。
know that you are
消费
very
问题呢
concerned
也是
with
大家非常
the
关注的
consumption.
从7
In
月份的情况来看呢，市
in
场销
July,
售呢保持持续
the
增长。
service
那么服务
industry's
消费的
consumption
带
is
动影响，
increasing
消费市
and
场
the
总
consumption
体
market
保
is
持恢复的态势。
restoring. The
那么7月份社会消
retail
费零售总额同比增长
volume
2.5%， 比
is
上月回落0.6个百分点，
mainly
主要受到这个汽车
decreasing
销售
due
放
to
缓
the
影响。
shrinking of the
那
mobile
从消费
market.
整体的情况来看，消费
But
的
we
这个
see
消费
a
市场的恢复
general
的态势呢
restoration in
仍在
terms of consumption
持续。
market. First of all is the fast increase of service industry. In the first 7 months, the retail volume is up by 20%, which is faster than the average commodity volume. And with the coming of the summer holidays, we also see major increase in transport, which is up by 47%. And the catering business is up by 25%. And the entertainment industry is also in restoring. We see a major increase of performing arts. And also the box office and cinemas is up by 100% month on month, and the number of viewers is also increasing, and the online sales is also picking up. The online sale is up by 10%, accounting for 26% of the total consumption, and it contributes to 35% of the national total. And we see more retail sales volume. It is up by 4.2%. At department stores and convenience stores, it is up by 8% and 7% respectively. And coming up, we do face some continuous constraint in terms of consumption. However, with the restoration of national economy and increase of residents' income, as well as the efficacy of the stimulus policy, we are going to see more booming consumers market, and this kind of very flourishing tourism industry will continue to pick up in August. And consumption of electric appliances will also restore in the short term. With the improvement of quality of e-mobiles, we will continue to see increase in this regard. And this month it is up by 30%. So can you tell us your projections of the future months based on the statistics of this month? In H1, the national economy continues to restore for the better, and in July it remains stable, and we see better optimization on all regard. And coming up, with the backdrop of inflation and complex domestic and global situation, we are still facing challenges such as lack of demand domestically and globally, and more downward pressure. And however, we have a full-fledged and very solid foundation for industry and manufacturing, so we still see very promising future in terms of national economy. We will continue to optimize our macroeconomic policies. First of all, we will see an increase in terms of domestic demand, especially the service industry, which is a strong support for the restoration of consumption. The commodity price volume is decreasing. However, with the restoration of national economy and increase of income, it will restore in the short term. We are also implementing some stimulus policies for consumers market. We see decrease in terms of real estate investment. However, we see a major increase in terms of investment in manufacture industry and service industry. And second, the global condition is improving. Despite the downward pressure at the global level and more challenges in the future, the total situation of the global market also see some positive signals, such as the decrease of inflation and the increase of interest and so on. So it has been stabilized somehow. And the situation might be better than expected. According to the projection of IMF, the global economic growth has been, the projection for that has been increased. And that will create a favorable condition for our foreign trade. Third, we are creating new momentum in new industries such as IT, and this will be a major contributor to the national economy, and also high-end manufacture and high-tech industry also are major contributors to the economic growth, and they now contribute more than 20% of the national economy. And the wind power generation is up by 20%. And the charging station for e-mobiles are also increasing. Fourth, the efficacy of macroeconomic policy will begin to show. The departments have been promoting consumption from multiple aspects, such as the construction of charging ports and other investment in infrastructure area. We also guide the decrease of market interest, push forward the renovation in shanty towns in urban areas. We also see a deepening of reform and opening up, an encouragement to the civil economy, to the private economy, to the private enterprises, which will also give rise to more momentum in terms of economic growth. In H2, we are projecting to see more stabilized national economy.
I have a few questions. First, just to confirm, you're not releasing the youth unemployment data for July, right? So you're starting today, you're not going to be releasing it. Secondly, does this call into question all of your data on the labor market? If the youth unemployment rate is incorrect, or you think it doesn't represent reality, should we believe that the 5.3% overall employment rate is correct? And then there's perception that the official 70-city home price data doesn't reflect the actual decline in house prices. Do you think the home price data reflects reality? And can you please explain how you gather this data and how it's calculated? Thank you.
好，请翻译一下。
彭博社记者，我有几个问题。第一个问题，我想确认的是，您指的是从7月开始就不再公布关于青少年的失业数据了，是不是？第二的话，如果您是认为这个由于青少年的数据不是特别的准确，或者说是不能够准确的反映现实的话，那么是否意味着总体的这个5.3%的这个失业数据也不一定是特别准确的呢？第三，我们想知道的是有这个关于70个城市的房地产价格的这个指数，请问这个方面的话，现在趋势如何？它是否我们想知道的是您是怎样收集信息、收集数据，并怎样计算的？
谢谢您的提问。
In terms of youth employment rate, I've already briefed on this situation. We have suspended the release of this number, and we will further optimize our measures of calculation before releasing them again. It does not affect the overall unemployment rate. The unemployment rate that we release now can reflect the employment market. Second, in terms of home price, you asked about
那么
the
房价
house
呢统计调
price
查呢，实际上我们是目前呢是在全国
investigation
大概70个大中城市开展
and
房地产
surveys. We conduct the survey in 70 major cities in China.
主要呢是
We do this mainly through the team of investigations.
那么进行采价，进行这个相关的这个形成的这个房价的数据。具体的情况呢，可以和我们发布
You
会之
could
后
reach
和我们
us
中央部门
after the press conference to know more about the details of the surveys and investigations.
谢谢。
好，继续提问。第二排这位女记者。
谢谢发言人。
With 21st century economy.
提问。今年7月，我国出口同比
Export is down by about
9%， 出口额连续2个月处于2位数的负增长
we
状态。
also see double-digit decrease in terms of export in multiple industries. So can you tell us more about the projections of
谢谢您的提问。那么
export
今年以来呢，世界经济复苏总体乏力，
market?
全球贸易低迷。那么在复杂严峻的
The
环境下呢，
global
外贸
economy
持续
remains
前7
sluggish,
个月进出
but
口总额同比增长
the
0.4%，
import
其
and
中出口增长
export
1.5%。
and trade market
那
in
么
China
出口
remain
占全球
relatively
这
stable.
个出口市场的份额呢总体稳定。
And our competitive
我国
edge
出口
at the
产品
global
的国
market
际竞
is
争
also
力依然较
increasing.
强。
In
那
July,
么7月份，我国进
the
出口总额同比
trade
下降了
volume is down
8.3%，
by
其中出口下降了 9.2%，
8.3%.
主要有2方面的因素。
This is mainly
一是全
because
球
of the
制造业
shrinking
低
of
迷，
demand
外
of
需收
at
缩
the
的影响
global
持续。
level.
7月份
And
全
the
国制造业全
PMI
球制造业
of
PMI 为
manufacturing
48.7，
industry has been
连续
decreasing
11个月处
for
于收缩
11
区
months
间，其
consecutively.
中新出口订单指数为
And the
46.4%，
export
比
orders
上月
is
下降
down by
0.7个百分点。 二是
46%.
上年同期基数较高，同比增速有所
Last
回落。
year's
那么
April,
去
due
年
to
4月
some
份受部
effect
分
of
地区
some
疫情的影响，进出口
local
是大幅回落的。
situation, the
那么去
trade
年的5
volume
到7月
has
份，
been
随
decreased
着积压
due
订
to
单的
the
集中释
pandemic.
放，进出口增速是连续加快。
On
其
July
中去年的
last
7月份
month,
当月，进出口增长了16.3%，其中出
import
口增长了
is
24.1%，
up
均
by
为去年月度的最高增速。
26%. So
那
this
么上年
high
同期基数的升高，
base
影响
number
今年7月份的
affect
这个
the
进出口的这个速度。
the number
那么
of
下阶段尽管面临
growth
不少
of
困难，
this year.
但我国产业体系完整，
But
供
we
给能力
see a
充足，
resilient
外贸韧性强的特
trade
点明显。
market
在
in
各项稳外
China,
贸政策作用下，
and we will
外贸基
continue
础
to
规模有
remain
望保持总体的稳定。
stable in the trade
一是活力
market.
较强的民
For
营企业
example,
进出
the
口
first
增
of all,
长
the
较快，
private
1到7月
industry's
份民营企
trade
业进出
volume
口
is
增
up
长
by
同比增长 6.7%， 明显
6.7%,
快于
which is
全部进出
faster
口
than the
总
national
额的增
level,
速。占外贸总值的比
contributing
重
to
达到
52% of the
52.9%。
total trade volume.
民营企业
So
拓展外
these
贸可能力
businesses
较
have a
强，
higher
有利于
vitalities,
外贸的稳定增长。
vitalities. And second,
二是
the
贸易伙伴
trade
多元化持续推
situation
进。
continue to become
我
more
国在
dynamic
稳
and
定传统
diversified.
贸易伙伴贸易的
We
同
will
时，
continue to
积极扩大与
expand our
新
trade
贸易
with
伙
new
伴的贸易，
partners through
推动共建
BRI
“一带一路”
and free
加快
trade
自贸区建
zones.
设，促进外贸的发展。
In the first 7
前7个
months,
月，我国对“一带
our
一
trade
路”沿线
volume
国家
to the
进出口
BRI countries
同比
is
增
up
长了
by
7.4%，
7.4%.
快于全部进出口的增速。
And three, we are creating new
三
momentum
是
in
外贸发
terms
展
of
新动能持续
trade
成长，外
market.
贸新业态不断拓展，带
So
动
the
作用
new
增强。
products
同时，
are
新产品的市场
see
竞
an
争力的提
increase
升
in terms of
也
their
助力外贸
competitive
的增长。
edge, such as the
在新能源
export
汽车
of
出口
new
增
energy
长的带动
cars
下，1到7
and
月份，我
e-mobiles.
国汽车出
It
口
is
同比
up
增长了
by 118%
118.8.5%。
compared to last
谢
year.
谢。
好，继续提问。
Last two
还
questions.
有2位记者举手，我们最后2个问题，先这边吧，第2排。
谢谢主持人，澎湃新闻记者提问。
So why
请问
did
国家
the
统计局这次为什么
NBS
新增发
release
布
the
服务
number
零
of
售额、
service
服务零售额与消费消费
consumption
品零售
retail
总额两
volume
个指标之间区别是什么？
this month?
谢谢您的提问。首先呢，我先向大家通报一下，那么这次呢，
From
这个
August
今
this
年从
year,
今年的8月份开
we
始，我们首次增加
add
了
this
发布服务零售额这个数据。
retail
服务零售
volume
额的
of a
这个
service industry,
主要呢是
which
指
mainly
企业、
refers
产业
to
活动单
the
位和个体工商户
direct
以交易形式
transaction
直接提供给个人
between
和其他单位
and
非生产非经营用的
retailers
服
and
务价值的
enterprise
总
to
额，
individuals
旨在反映服务提供方以
and
货币
other
形式销售的
consumptions,
属于消费的
including
服务价值，
transport,
包括交通、住宿、
hotels,
餐饮、教育、卫生、
education,
体育、娱乐等领域
health,
服务活动的
and
零售。
sports, and so on. The reason why we released this number is because now we are transferring to high-quality development. So this kind of consumption and upgrade of consumption structure is a key factor and indicator to high-quality development. So service industry now can account for 40% to the total national consumption. So the consumption retail volume is a key to the goods, including commodity and catering services, but it does not include other service industry. So it cannot fully reflect the situation of the service industry. That's why we have expanded the scope for service consumption index. This year, NBS have studied it carefully. The calculation of the numbers of the service industry in order to further enrich our and optimize our consumption. We believe that the current calculation method can better reflect the development of the service industry. So from August this year, we will begin to release the number and index.
那么从社会消费品零售总额和服务零售额的这个差别来看呢，主要呢这两个指标呢中间有一定的交叉。
So mainly the difference between the calculation method now and the ones before is whether it include the catering business. Because catering business is actually service consumption. So in the service retail consumption, it not only include catering, but also consumption in sports, entertainment, health, education, and so on. So I believe that this method can better reflect the situation.
谢谢。封面新闻记者提问。
We see a major increase in service and tourism since the summer holidays. So can you tell us more about your projections this year, this month? We see a very stabilized service industry. As you can see from the number we have just released. So the service retail volume is up by 21%. With the coming of summer vacation, the service consumption is picking up quickly. Again, this backdrop, the CPI in service industry is also expanding month on month, up by 1.2 percentage points, which is up by 0.5 percentage points compared to the situation of last month. The employment situation of this year is also picking up, which will also improve the consumption of our residents and restore our confidence in market. So this kind of restoration of consumption market will continue to expand. Thank you. That's all for today's press conference. Thank you, Mr. Fu, and thank you all for attending.